Every morning, before you even touch your phone, take a moment to count your blessings. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. It fills your heart with positivity and attracts even more reasons to be thankful. A grateful mind is a magnet for miracles. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions that can completely transform the way we experience life. When you wake up each morning and begin your day with gratitude, you set the tone for everything that follows. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking about what we don't have, what's missing, or what could go wrong. But gratitude shifts our attention towards what is already present, what is working, and what is truly valuable. The moment you choose to acknowledge the blessings around you, no matter how small, your mind automatically shifts from a state of scarcity to a state of abundance. This simple shift has the power to rewire the way your brain perceives the world. Scientific studies have shown that practicing gratitude daily not only increases happiness, but also reduces stress and improves physical health. When you feel thankful, your body releases positive hormones that elevate your mood, calm your anxiety, and energize your spirit. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect, but rather about finding light even when there is darkness. It teaches you to say, yes, I may have problems, but I also have countless blessings that outweigh them. Think about the gift of waking up, having another chance to live, breathe, and try again. Think about the people who care for you, the opportunities you've received, and the lessons you've learned even from your struggles. These are treasures that often go unnoticed until we pause and reflect with gratitude. Starting your day with gratitude creates a ripple effect. When you are grateful, your conversations become kinder, your actions more thoughtful, and your outlook more hopeful. Gratitude strengthens relationships because people feel valued when they are appreciated. It also sharpens your focus on progress rather than problems, encouraging you to see possibilities instead of obstacles. A grateful heart is not easily shaken by setbacks because it is rooted in the habit of looking for the positive side of every situation. This mindset not only attracts inner peace, but also draws external opportunities because people are naturally drawn to those who radiate positivity and contentment. Gratitude is magnetic. It makes you glow in ways that no material possession can. The most beautiful aspect of gratitude is that it requires no money, no special skills, and no extraordinary circumstances. It is simply a choice to notice the good that already exists. You can practice it by keeping a gratitude journal, silently thanking life each morning, or even telling the people around you how much they mean to you. The more you practice, the stronger the habit becomes, and the more your life begins to change. Gratitude is the seed from which joy, resilience, and success grow. When you learn to value the present, you open the door for even greater blessings to flow into your life, because what you appreciate appreciates. Feeding your mind with positivity is one of the most life-changing habits you can develop because the thoughts you entertain daily shape your emotions, decisions, and ultimately your destiny. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant in it will grow, whether they are seeds of hope and strength or seeds of doubt and fear. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by noise, negativity, and distractions that can easily drain our energy and cloud our judgment. News headlines often highlight chaos, social media can magnify comparison, and conversations can sometimes spread complaints and discouragement. If you allow these influences to dominate your thoughts, you will naturally start feeling demotivated, anxious, and stuck. That is why consciously feeding your mind with positivity is essential. It allows you to stay focused on growth, optimism, and possibilities even when the external world feels heavy. What you choose to consume mentally becomes the filter through which you see life. Reading inspiring books, listening to motivational talks, watching educational content, or surrounding yourself with uplifting people can nourish your mind in ways that open doors to creativity, courage, and resilience. For example, when you read the stories of individuals who overcame great challenges, you are reminded that your own struggles can also be stepping stones to success. When you listen to empowering words first thing in the morning, your mindset for the entire day shifts towards productivity and hope. The human brain is designed to respond strongly to repetition. So whatever you expose it to regularly becomes your belief system. If negativity can train you to feel hopeless, then positivity can train you to feel unstoppable. It's important to remember that positivity doesn't mean ignoring problems or living in denial. It means choosing to focus on solutions rather than obstacles. A positive mind is not blind to difficulties. It simply refuses to be controlled by them. By feeding your mind with positive input, you strengthen your ability to see opportunities where others see barriers. This mental resilience becomes a powerful tool when facing setbacks because instead of being paralyzed by fear, your mind naturally searches for ways to rise above challenges. Surrounding yourself with positive people is equally important because energy is contagious. The attitudes of those around you can influence your own mindset far more than you may realize. Being in the company of dreamers, doers, and believers will fuel your ambition and remind you of your potential, while being around constant negativity will eventually drain your spirit. Protecting your mental space by choosing the right company is one of the most empowering acts of self-love. In the end, the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. If you want peace, success, and joy, then feed your mind with the kind of information and energy that nurtures those feelings. Just as the body cannot thrive on junk food, the mind cannot thrive on negativity. The more you commit to surrounding yourself with positive influences, the more you will find that your perspective, decisions, and life as a whole begin to align with growth and fulfillment. Discipline is the invisible force that transforms dreams into reality, and it is one of the most crucial habits anyone can build. Many people rely on motivation alone to achieve their goals, but motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment and then fades away. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady fire that keeps burning even when you don't feel like continuing. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, whether or not you are in the mood to do it. When you cultivate self-discipline, you give yourself the power to stay consistent, and consistency is what creates long-term success. Every great achievement in history is the result of discipline, not mere bursts of inspiration. Discipline is about keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you will wake up early and you actually do it, every time you decide to exercise and you follow through, every time you choose to focus on your work instead of procrastinating, you build a foundation of trust within yourself. This self-trust is vital because when you consistently honor your commitments, you begin to see yourself as capable, reliable, and strong. On the other hand, when you repeatedly break promises to yourself, you weaken your confidence and create a cycle of doubt. That is why small acts of discipline are so powerful. They accumulate into a stronger sense of identity and self-respect. Another important aspect of discipline is that it helps you resist temporary pleasures in exchange for long-term rewards. Life constantly presents choices between what feels good now and what will feel better later. It is tempting to scroll endlessly on your phone instead of studying, or to skip a workout because you feel tired. But discipline is the voice inside you that says, I will choose what I need over what I want right now. This ability to delay gratification is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who only dream about them. The person who chooses to work hard consistently, even on ordinary days, eventually reaps extraordinary results. Discipline also brings structure to your life. Without it, you may find yourself drifting aimlessly, reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. With discipline, you set priorities, manage your time effectively, and take deliberate steps toward your goals. It creates a sense of order that reduces chaos and confusion. When your actions are guided by discipline, you no longer rely on chance or luck. You build a system that leads you where you want to go. It is important to realize that discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about showing yourself love and respect. By practicing discipline, you are telling yourself that your future matters, your goals matter, and your growth matters. It may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from who you are today to who you dream of becoming tomorrow. Failure is often seen as something to avoid at all costs, but in truth, it is one of the most powerful teachers life can offer. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has experienced failure, sometimes more than once, yet they refused to let it define them. Instead, they used it as a stepping stone to learn, grow, and move forward with greater wisdom. The problem is that most people view failure as the opposite of success. when in reality, it is part of the journey to success. Without failure, there is no growth, and without growth, there is no real progress. When you fail, you are given a unique opportunity to reflect and discover what went wrong, what can be improved, and how you can approach things differently next time. This process of reflection and adjustment is what makes failure a teacher. Each mistake you make carries valuable lessons that no book or lecture could ever provide. These lessons shape your character, sharpen your skills, and prepare you for challenges ahead. In fact, the resilience and problem-solving abilities that are born out of failure are often the very qualities that lead to breakthroughs. Many people fear failure because they associate it with shame or judgment from others. They worry about how they will look or what people will say. But the truth is, everyone fails, and those who achieve the most are usually those who failed the most. The difference is in how they responded. Instead of asking, why me, they asked, what can I learn from this? That simple shift in mindset turns failure from a heavy burden into a valuable gift. When you embrace failure as feedback, you stop running from it and start using it to your advantage. Failure also humbles us, reminding us that we are human and that growth takes time. It teaches patience and persistence, two qualities that are essential for long-term success. Without failure, it is easy to become arrogant or complacent, believing that progress will always come easily. But failure grounds us, forcing us to dig deeper, work harder, and stay committed to our purpose even when things don't go as planned. It strips away illusions and reveals the truth about how much effort, discipline, and dedication are required to achieve meaningful goals. Perhaps the most powerful gift of failure is that it builds resilience. Every time you fall and get back up, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. This resilience becomes a part of who you are, giving you the courage to face future challenges without fear. You no longer see setbacks as the end of the road, but as temporary detours guiding you toward a better path. In this way, failure becomes not something to be ashamed of, but something to be grateful for, because it shapes you into the person capable of achieving the success you desire. Giving more and expecting less is a principle that can completely transform the way you live and the way you connect with others. In a world where many people are constantly focused on taking, accumulating, and demanding, the act of giving stands out as something rare and deeply meaningful. True fulfillment does not come from how much you own or how much you receive, but from how much value you bring to others. When you give, whether it is your time, your kindness, your resources, or even just a listening ear, you create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Giving is not only an act of generosity, it is an act of empowerment, because when you lift others, you also rise with them. There is a deep sense of joy that comes with giving without expecting anything in return. When you help someone purely out of compassion or love, the satisfaction you feel is unlike anything material possessions can provide. It strengthens your relationships, builds trust, and makes people feel valued. More importantly, it builds your character, reminding you that life is not just about you, but about the impact you leave on others. The habit of giving teaches humility and empathy, two qualities that are becoming increasingly rare, yet are desperately needed in today's society. When you give, it doesn't always have to be in the form of money or material things. A smile, a kind word, or simple encouragement can brighten someone's entire day. These small acts of kindness may seem insignificant, but they often mean more than we realize. Sometimes, just listening to someone who feels unheard can change their perspective and give them hope. True giving is about being present for others in whatever way you can, using what you already have to make a difference. What makes this habit powerful is that giving always comes back to you, though not necessarily in the way you expect. The universe has a way of rewarding kindness, and often the good you put into the world finds its way back to you in surprising forms. It could be in the form of opportunities, friendships, or simply inner peace. When you expect less, you free yourself from disappointment, and when you give more, you create an environment where goodness flows naturally. This balance makes your life richer, not in material wealth, but in meaning and fulfillment. Moreover, giving teaches you that abundance is not measured by how much you hold on to, but by how much you share. When you give, you are telling yourself that you already have enough, that you are not living in scarcity, but in abundance. This mindset not only elevates your happiness, but also attracts even more blessings into your life. It reminds you that the greatest legacy you can leave is not in the possessions you accumulate, but in the lives you touch and the hearts you inspire along the way. Small daily habits have the extraordinary power to shape your entire destiny, even though they may seem insignificant in the moment. Many people believe that transformation comes from a single, life-changing event. But in reality, it is the quiet consistency of the choices you make every day that determines who you become. The way you spend your mornings, the thoughts you allow into your mind, the actions you repeat without much thought, all of these contribute to building your character, your future, and your life as a whole. Success is never an overnight phenomenon. It is the result of countless small, repeated actions that compound over time. Just like drops of water can carve through rock when they fall consistently, small habits shape the strongest version of you when practiced daily. The beauty of small habits lies in their simplicity. Waking up a little earlier to plan your day, spending a few minutes expressing gratitude, exercising regularly, reading for personal growth, or practicing mindfulness might not seem like massive steps, but they gradually build momentum that is impossible to ignore. These habits may not give you instant results, but over months and years, they accumulate into something powerful. A person who reads just 10 pages a day ends up finishing several books a year. A person who exercises just 20 minutes a day becomes far healthier over time than someone who only works out occasionally with no routine. This compounding effect is why small daily habits matter so much. They create the foundation upon which bigger achievements rest. What makes small habits so transformative is that they shape your identity. Every time you practice a positive habit, you cast a vote for the kind of person you want to become. When you consistently choose discipline over laziness, you start seeing yourself as disciplined. When you repeatedly act with kindness, you begin to identify yourself as compassionate. These small choices build up your self-image, and eventually, your actions align with the person you believe yourself to be. Over time, you no longer need to force yourself to act a certain way because it becomes who you are. On the other hand, neglecting small habits can also shape your destiny in the opposite direction. Just as positive habits compound into success, negative habits compound into regret. Skipping one day of effort may seem harmless, but repeated avoidance of responsibility or discipline slowly pulls you away from your goals. The difference between a successful and unsuccessful person is often not talent or luck, but the consistency of small actions practiced over years. The greatest advantage of small habits is that anyone can start them regardless of their circumstances. You don't need wealth, fame, or extraordinary opportunities to change your life. All you need is the commitment to improve little by little every day. These tiny steps create unstoppable momentum, and before you realize it, they reshape your reality. The person you dream of becoming is hidden inside your daily actions, waiting to be built one habit at a time. Remember this, you don't need to wait for the perfect time to change your life. Start small, start today, and stay consistent. Because greatness is not built in a day, it's built daily. Your habits are your superpower. Use them wisely and watch your life transform into something you once only dreamed of.